Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a long overdue May reading wrap up. I had considered switching over to the recent reads format and coming back and reviewing every 10 books or so, but it looks like I read 10 books in May, I think. That's what we're going to be doing today, but before hopping too far into it, if you're new here, hello, my name is Emily. This is MacInnis Mama, where you will find mostly bookish content. And today we're going to be chatting about a bunch of books that I've read recently. I'm going to start off with two books I read in May for my fantasy romance wheel reading vlog, which I will link up in the card. So I'm not going to chat about these too much. If you want to hear all my thoughts, you can check out that reading vlog. I loved doing it, and there will be another wheel style vlog coming soon. So I read volume 2 of Olympus. This is a fantasy romance webtoons, like graphic novel situation that they're available on webtoons, but they have been binding up these beautiful editions, and I read volume 2. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I loved volume 2 way more than I did volume 1 because I feel like I had a better understanding on the Greek mythology characters, which I do not have a background knowledge in. So I did give this 4 stars, which was an improvement from volume 1, which I gave 3 stars. For that vlog, I also read Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. This is the second book in the Red Queen series. This is a YA fantasy series. I read book 1, and then there's 2 novellas in between book 1 and 2, and then I read this one. This is what's in the vlog, and this was the similar case. I enjoyed this book much more than book 1. In this series, there are 2 different colored bloods. There are red bloods, which are just normal people and live kind of like more peasant life, if you will, and then silver bloods, which are the royalty or higher society, and they have magical abilities. Well, Maribero, our main character in here, has red blood, but it is discovered that she also has abilities of her own. She gets tied in with royalty, and then she's on the run, and this book picks up right where book 1 leaves off, which was really great. And I loved the adventuring in here and the beginnings of a found family type feel. And I gave this book 4 stars as well. So really enjoyed this. Looking forward to continuing both of those series. Sam and I's May trauma read was Matched with the Dragon by Lola Ryan. I did not rate this on Goodreads because it only had 39 ratings, and I didn't want to be an asshole. I really did not enjoy this book. So this is a male-male romance, kind of a fantasy romance. Our one male main character is a human, a fireman. He is a big burly alpha type guy, and he gets matched with this dragon dude who is also a big burly alpha type guy, and dragon shifter, so he's still very humanoid, but he can turn into a dragon. He puts off a lot of heat. Other things can shift. You know where I'm going. What I did not like about this was I found the 2 alpha male situation. The dragon guy ends up dominating over our firefighter guy, but in a humiliating and degrading way, in my opinion. And I really did not enjoy reading that at all. It felt a little degrading, and not in oh, that's my hair's getting caught in my watch. That's like degradation. Is that right? Can be a kink. No, I just felt like the fireman was being humiliated a lot. Anyways, didn't enjoy it. Moving on. I read Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I'm so happy I pre-ordered this after seeing all of the hype on Instagram, because now you can't find this book anywheres. My mom's actually borrowing it right now, so I can't show you, but I have the first edition with the beautiful sprayed edges. This is a new fantasy romance series with dragons and a military school. I'm sure you know what Fourth Wing is about because everybody is talking about it. I give it 5 stars. I'm one of those that I'm right there with the hype. I loved it, and that is saying a lot for me because I always feel like the odd man out. I always feel like I don't like the hyped books, so I kind of avoid them typically. But when I heard like school setting, magical school setting and dragons, I just couldn't resist. And like at that point I had only seen 5-star reviews. Did it feel a little young at some points? Yeah, sure, but I didn't care. I loved it so much anyways, and I can't wait for the next one. And we don't even have to wait that long. Book 2 is coming out in November, and like I said, I've already pre-ordered it. So I didn't chat about that too much, but I feel like I'm trying to rush a little bit, and I feel like you must know what Fourth Wing's about. I finished the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy with Kingdom of the Feared by Carrie Maniscalco. I feel like this was a fine conclusion. In this series, you're following like a murder mystery, and it's a fantasy romance as well. There are witches, so Amelia is looking to solve the murder and get revenge on the murder of her twin sister Victoria, and they are witches and are told like under no circumstances can you summon a demon, a devil, anything like that. And of course, in the name of figuring out what happened to her sister, she does just that. She gets tied in with the 7 princes of hell, and it kind of goes from there. Like I said, this is just a fine conclusion. I gave it 3 stars. The second book in this series, like, is far better than the first book or the last book. I think I gave book 1 and 3 both 3 stars, and I loved book 2. Sam and I continued our Throne of Glass buddy read with Crown of Midnight in the month of May. I gave this 5 stars. This is my first 5-star book in the series. This is a reread for me, but my other ratings have remained the same, like 4 stars for The Assassin's Blade. I think, did I bump that up to 5 stars? I'm not sure. I think it was 4. And 4 stars for Throne of Glass, and this is where things really kick off for me, and I love this so much. Fantasy series. I've literally talked about Sarah J Maas every single month on my channel for the last 1.5 years, so I'm just going to assume with this one as well that you know what Throne of Glass is about. The next trauma read Sam and I did, I guess we fit in 2 in the month of May. What is wrong with this? It's so much fun though. We read Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nascosta. This is a monster romance. Our main character works at a Minotaur milking farm. Yes, because it is being used for medical advancements or something like that. Anyways, it's like a pharmaceutical company situation. And she falls in love with one of the clients, one of the Minotaurs. And the actual, so I gave this book 3 stars because the actual romance part was so sweet. I actually loved that so much, but every time, especially like the first part of the book where we were getting shown how everything works at this new job she's going to get and like going along her day with her, I felt so uncomfortable, and I thought that it would get better as the book went on because this is, I think it's like 250 pages. I thought it would get better. I was uncomfortable the entire time. So like rating this was really hard for me because, yeah, anyways. Oh, I gave this 2.5. Sorry. Also, the non-linear writing style got worse and worse as we went throughout the book. I didn't notice it at all at the beginning, but in the later chapters we will start doing one scene, then all of a sudden we're like flashback, no warning, to something that happened in the past, then all of a sudden we're in the future, and then we're back to like, it was so confusing to keep the timeline straight, and it was just a very, very strange writing choice. But I liked them together as a couple, so do with that what you will. The last 3 books in this roundup of 10 I read for 72 Hours in the Smut Den. I just posted that reading vlog. I will again link that up in the cards. That was a readathon hosted by the Late Night Crew, and I had so much fun. I spun the Dark Wheel all weekend and read 3 dark romances. I read Morning Glory Milking Farm in that weekend as well, but it wasn't for the vlog. Anyways, so first I read King of Flesh and Bone by Liv Zander. This is a very dark fantasy romance. It is about 250 pages, I think, and I gave this one 3 stars. The world building in this was really, really interesting. Again, I'm not going to chat about these too much. If you want to hear all my thoughts, check out my reading blog, because I don't want to be repetitive if you watch all of my videos. Really love the world building. The romance was very dark and typically non-consensual, because the King of Flesh and Bone is like their devil, and our main character is just kind of like accidentally presented to him, so he sees her as his object to do with what he pleases. So it was basically an erotica with really cool world building, but hardly any plot. I needed more plot in order to enjoy this more, and I would have loved it even more if we had some character development. But overall, like, I had a good time reading it, but there are definitely a lot of flaws, so I gave it 3 stars. There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark. I can't believe it took me so long to read it. I gave this 4.5 stars. I really loved it. Both Cole and Mara are really, really interesting characters, and I can't wait to continue reading in There Is No Devil. Is that the second book? It's just a duet. There are just so many layers to them, and the plot was amazing. The spice was amazing. This is all around a really great book. This is a serial killer dark romance. And lastly, for 72 Hours in the Smut Den, I read Bound by Honor by Cora Riley. This is the first book in the Born in Blood Mafia Chronicles. There are a ton of books to read in this series. I'm excited to dive into mafia romance a little bit more, but I did give this book 3 stars. This is an arranged marriage age gap. We're following 2 mafia families. So, is her name Aria? I forget already. Oh dear. Comes from Chicago, and she is set to marry Luca from New York, the New York mob and the Chicago mafia, to kind of like get an alliance going, if you will, through marriage. I just didn't really enjoy this one because I felt like Aria didn't, is that even her name? I need to check, because or else I'm going to feel like an idiot. Yes. I just feel like she didn't do anything. Like, at the beginning of the book, I was really enjoying it. I like learning about like mafia politics in these books, but then she didn't go out and really do anything. She just like waited for Luca to get home from work and then argue about how she didn't want to have sex with him for like most of the book, even though they are married. And that's like part of the job of a mafia wife, if you know what I mean. I don't know. Like, it was good. It was fine, but I had quite a few problems with it, so I gave it 3 stars. So those are the 10 books I read in the month of May. I had a really great reading month. I have continued on having a really fantastic reading journey into the month of June, and I'm excited to share all the books I've been reading this month, since we're very near the end. You'll have to let me know what your favorite, let me know your most recent 5-star read. Ooh, that will be fun, because did I have 3? 4.5 for There Are No Saints, Crown of Midnight was a 5, and Fourth Wing was a 5 for me. So I think that's a pretty great reading month. So let me know what your most recent 5-star read was. I would love to chat with you. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so that I know, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!